Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm very excited to be bringing you guys episode 3 of A Look Back. And for those of you who do know what this series is, welcome back. For those of you who don't know, I'll explain it to you very quickly. A Look Back is a very fun, nostalgic trip down memory lane that I'm doing on my channel where we just go back and kind of just dissect and look at and talk about every single season of the Walking Dead original series, starting with season 1. And I already have those videos out on the channel. If you guys want to check those out, make sure you check the playlist on the channel, and you'll find one called The Look Back. And you can watch episodes 1 and 2 there. And then you can check this one out as well. So, in today's video, we're going to be covering season 3 of The Walking Dead. And this was a very interesting season for me. And it's funny because every single time I go back and I rewatch season 3, it kind of feels different every single time. There's a few seasons of The Walking Dead that have this effect on me, and I'd say those seasons are probably season 3, season 7, season 8, and season 10. Those are the seasons that kind of feel different every single time I watch them. And for season 3 specifically, season 3 gets a lot of hype. A lot of people hold this season in very high regards, man. A lot of people say that this is like one of the best seasons ever. For me personally, I wouldn't put it in my top 3 probably, but it would be right underneath that maybe. I don't know. It's definitely a weird feeling for me because I wasn't that crazy about the whole Rick losing his mind thing whenever Lori died, right? Like it makes sense, right? Obviously, Rick loved Lori a lot and they had a very complicated relationship, especially with the whole Shane dynamic and stuff like that. But I didn't really love that whole part of the season when Rick was losing his mind and stuff. It kind of seemed just a little bit like stretched out and boring to me, and I just didn't really enjoy that. I did actually enjoy the Woodbury stuff with the governor. I thought that was awesome. Um, Woodbury. I don't know, but yeah, that stuff was pretty awesome. Honestly, guys, I really am interested to know what your guys' thoughts are about season 3, man, because I think it's a very good season, but it's probably a little bit like, I don't want to say it's overrated, but I would probably say it's a little bit more overrated than underrated, in my opinion, just because I think, like, there's just a lot of stuff that happened that I wasn't crazy about. There were some cool characters though, like Oscar, this guy right here on the screen. You guys remember Oscar, right? Oscar was really cool. He was a pretty awesome addition for the few episodes he was on there, and just learning about the governor, learning about Woodbury, all that stuff. It was definitely very interesting, right? Like seeing this vibrant, thriving community that seemed safe, right? Like we kind of saw our group go to the prison and start struggling really bad, right? Everything was just nasty and gross and they're dirty and there's walkers everywhere and there's dead bodies everywhere. And yeah, they were safe, but I mean, look at what they had to pay to get there, right? Look at what they had to do to clear out the prison. And obviously, it was still like a dirty environment. You know what I mean? It's a prison for crying out loud. And then you see Woodbury with, the governor and Andrea and Michonne and Merle is there, and there's all these people and everyone's got regular clothes on, everyone seems really clean, and there's nice apartments and stuff, you know what I mean? It was just a total different vibe. There's walls, there's like shops and school, I'm pretty sure, and people have jobs and everything. It's just like it was a resemblance of the old world, right, in the zombie apocalypse, and that's what made Woodbury so interesting. I'd say that was a highlight for me anyway of season 3, just learning about Woodbury, learning about the governor, and just how that whole situation was going. Obviously, season 3 had one of the best episodes of all time. Season 3, episode 4. It's titled Killer Within, and that's the episode where Lori dies, giving birth, and T Dog dies as well. T Dog was always a really great character to me. Very underrated character. T Dog is like an A list character. He's like an A tier character, not A list, but A tier character. And he's awesome, man. It sucked so hard to see him die. I was so sad when he died, man. But yeah, season 3, episode 4, one of the best episodes of all time. Probably top 10. I would say top 10 for sure. It has to be in the top 10. What do you guys think? Where does Killer Within rank for you in your top episodes of all time of The Walking Dead? It has to be at least top 10. So I think that season 3 had a lot of highs, but it also had some lows. I think kind of like that middle part of the season was a little bit slow at times. Glenn and Maggie getting kidnapped by Merle was definitely something I did not see coming. And obviously, we're kind of thinking while it's happening, well, what's the conflict going to be like with Daryl and Rick, you know? because you have Merle, who's Daryl's brother, and he's doing all these terrible things to characters we love. And obviously, I kind of thought that Rick was going to end up killing Merle, or that Daryl was going to have to kill Merle to save Glenn or Maggie. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. And then obviously Merle redeemed himself and then ultimately ended up getting killed by the governor in episode 15. And, that was also just like an all time great episode. I think that was kind of like, I don't know, that was a very awesome episode. I think it was called This Sorrowful Life. Yeah, it is. That episode is so great. Just seeing Daryl out there trying to find his brother and obviously finding him as a walker. Super sad stuff. I remember seeing that when I was like 12 years old and I was just heartbroken. I was like, there's no way, man. This is crazy. That was a great episode. And the characters in season 3 were really strong. I will say that. I don't think they're as strong as they were in like seasons 4, 5, and 6. I think those characters were a little bit more strong, like the introduction of like Abraham and Rosita and Eugene, and obviously in season 6 the cast was just like stacked. There's so many great characters, but season 3, the show was still kind of establishing its identity in season 3. They had a new showrunner, and he was only the showrunner for one season, but he did a pretty good job. If I remember correctly, I believe his name was Glenn Mazzara. I believe that was his name, but I think he did a really good job. It was just kind of I don't know, they covered a lot of material in season 3. You know what I mean? They really covered a lot. And I'm not against that. I don't think that it's a bad thing. Some people do. Some people think that a lot of the season 3 storyline should have milked over into the season 4 storyline, but I don't know. I'm not really a huge believer in that or a huge fan of that. I'm kind of more of a fan of just getting it over with and progressing the story. And that's definitely what season 3 did. So overall, my thoughts on season 3. Oh yeah, also, we had Morgan come back too. That was really interesting. I do think that episode, season 3, episode 12, is titled Clear. I do think that Clear overall is a very overrated episode. And maybe that's a hot take, I don't know. I think it's overrated because the only reason people really think it's that awesome is because Morgan came back. And I understand it's cool to see, a season 1 character again, and obviously Morgan's a cool character, but I just think the episode as a whole is a little bit overrated. People that say Clear is like an all-time great episode, I'm just like, how does it compare to, season 7 episode 1 or season 5 episode 1 or, season 9 episode 15, I don't know. It doesn't stack up there. Even The Ones Who Live episode 1, right? Like there's a lot of other episodes in my opinion. I think even in that season, I don't think it's better than This Sorrowful Life or Killer Within. And maybe there's some other ones in there too, like maybe even the premiere episode where they, find the prison and stuff. I don't know. I just think Clear is a little bit overrated, but seeing Morgan again was awesome for sure. I kind of wish Morgan would have just gone back with the group. I think it was kind of, I don't know. I don't really like the way they handled Morgan's storyline to me. I didn't like the whole Morgan crazy clearing thing. I just wasn't a big fan of that. I think it would have been way cooler if Rick and Morgan found each other and Morgan just hopped in the SUV with them and went back to the prison and kind of became a part of the group again, right? I think that would have been a little bit cooler. But obviously we ended up getting that down the road. We ended up getting, Morgan as, part of the group again. But it just, I don't know, it was way down the road in the end of season 5. But I think it would have been a lot cooler in season 3 to have Morgan there. But, I mean, it is what it is. Overall, season 3, a very solid season for The Walking Dead, in my opinion. I think we really started to see Daryl Dixon grow and become a leader in this season. We also started to see some of the other characters step up. We saw Merle kind of redeem himself towards the end and go try to kill the governor. He ended up failing, of course, and he died, unfortunately. But, I mean, it was a good season overall, guys. So if I had to give it a rating on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd probably give it like a 8 or so. I think an 8 is a very fair score. It was very good. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely probably top 5. I'd put it in my top 5 favorite seasons of The Walking Dead. Most likely, I'd say yeah. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. I love doing these videos with you guys. I love taking these nostalgic trips down memory lane on my favorite show of all time with you. So if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. I'm going to be having episode 4 coming out before too long. I'm actually going to try to really focus on doing these look back episodes because I just love doing them, and I really want to get this series completed. I would love to have a full playlist of a look back on the channel, all of the seasons. So, anyways, drop a like and subscribe if you want to see some more stuff like this. It really means the world to me. It really helps the channel grow a lot more than you guys know. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the love. I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure you stay safe out there in the crazy world, man. Let me know your thoughts down below. I love you guys. Peace.